How about now? Can you guys hear me now? Do a thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome. So now that you can hear me, I'll start over. So thank you very much for joining us. This session is recorded. This is our first session for our trading room, and hopefully there will be many more as we go along. This has no agenda. I invite traders here to talk with me about different currencies, to look at the charts, to analyze them together, and to hear of your trading ideas. And maybe if you're interested, you can hear of mine. Obviously nothing here is a trading advice. This is just, my ideas and your ideas. Nobody's advising anyone to buy or sell any cryptocurrency. But I want this to be a room where we can all share our ideas and talk about what we see on the charts, and if we identify different opportunities, and so share them between ourselves. So because we're just getting started, this is all recorded. If you're joining us late, you can view it later. So I'll start by talking about what's going on with the Bitcoin today. So it happens to be that Bitcoin hit the all-time high today, and hopefully when we look at this video in a 1 year time, it will be way higher than that. So when I look at an asset, at a chart, what I tend to do is first I want to take a fresh look. I don't have anything, any indicator or anything on the chart, and I like to take a look back. So I'm going to take the longer time frames, for example, weekly or monthly, just to see where we stand when looking things in a wider perspective. And then from that wider perspective, I go down in time frames from weekly to daily to 4 hours, 1 hour, and even sometimes I take a look at a 1 minute chart if I try to look for a specific very quick opportunities. So when looking at the one last trick that I want to show you about TradingView is, if you right click on the price, you can actually change the price scale from regular to logarithmic. And this is something I like to do because it kind of shows us in a different way. It shows us the ratio between the prices looking historically. So we can see that when looking at things like that the latest drop from 66 to 29 is probably nothing but a hiccup on the way up. So this is something you can try at different assets, changing it to logarithmic, and then let's change it back. So when I'm looking at the chart, like I say, what I want to do is, usually the way I work, I like to find those areas of support and resistance. Trying to look at the chat as we go along to see if there's anything interesting for us. So and I do that. I try to identify the support and resistance from the longer time scales to the shorter one, and I just throw them out there. For example, I can see that the price went up here and went down all the way to 29, and then again and again and again. So this is an obvious support. Let's change that line, make it wider because we're looking at the longer time frame. And there was a resistance here that turned resistant here again, and then turned into support again. So I'll put another line here. and the obvious resistance here that we've just broke. So let's put another line here. Oh, sorry. Horizontal line. So this is Bitcoin on a weekly time frame perspective. Let's take a deeper dive into the daily and see what we can identify in terms of support and resistance. I can see that here there was another level, somewhat of a region more than a single line, but for now let me just throw another line in there. Somewhere around here there was a resistance turned support, support again and again, and resistance turns support again. So I would say deserves a line here. It's a daily line. And then looking at Bitcoin. So by the way, when I look at Bitcoin, what I want to see is if we are in a movement upward or downward, or are we in a in a trend, or are we in a channel, meaning somewhat of a stagnation in price. Because when cryptocurrencies move, they tend to move in relation to the Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin moves, other currencies usually stagnate, and when Bitcoin stays in the same region, other currencies start to move, whether it's upward or downward. So hi guys, hi Igor, hi Adam. Robert, you were asking if the AI is fast enough to trigger strategies. Then the answer is yes. We're connected to real-time tick data, and our machine works very, very fast. Okay, so let's take an even deeper look into a 4-hour chart and see what happens in the Bitcoin. And by the way, if there's a particular asset that you would like me to analyze, you can write it in the chat, and I'll take a look at it together. We can take a look at it together. So looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see all of our support and resistance much closer. We can see another one here, right? This is a region of support and resistance. Resistance turns support. So it's more of a region, but somewhat along the line of 59. And what I like to do is I like to look for those situations where we break the support and resistance, and then we come back to it, because support tends to turn into resistance and vice versa. So those could be nice opportunities to take a trade. So we have this one over here, somewhat of a region between 63 to 65, that if the price comes back here, maybe I will look for a long trade. So this is something I might do. If you have different ideas, feel free sharing them with us. Let's look at the Ether. You want to look at SHIB. Let's look at SHIB. I think I have it. I have it here. So for those of you who don't know what SHIB is a meme coin following Dogecoin, which represents basically nothing. But in today's world, who cares? Value is where people decide there's a value. And this is a very interesting coin. We can see that, what is it, like 21st of October? No, not 21st of October, October 3rd, like in 1.5, like 6 weeks, it turned, let's see how much, maximum 1,000% and standing at 600%. This is just incredible and ridiculous. Let's look at the Dogecoin for a second. Let's look at a daily chart. Like those that came in late at March or April only made like 1200% at the top and are just now standing at 400%. But SHIB is the new player in town, and obviously very, very volatile, which means a lot of risk, but also a lot of opportunities for those of you who know how to capitalize on the opportunities. Listen, just if you trade this, obviously you do what you want to do, but you know, I wouldn't put a lot of my money into it because it's so extremely volatile. It's super easy to go in, you know, here, and then let's say I got in here and then I'm like 30% or even 50% down very, very quickly. So, you know, do take the risks very, very seriously. But obviously very, very volatile and a lot of opportunities. So in terms of daily, we see like if I would, you know, draw the lines, obviously first resistance was here, that was broken very, very easily. And last support was here, and there's a gap between the two. So if I were to wait for the opportunity, I would say I would wait for either this support will touch again and then won't be, you know, broken, and then take it on the way up, at least until here, right? So I would say, you know, if the support hits again and then starts coming back and doesn't break, maybe I'll enter here. That would be just me, right? And get out. So this was the last resistance over here. So I would say I will get in here and then get out here. And let's see how big of a trade that is. So that would be getting in, let's say here, right? That would be a 40% trade if I were to be patient enough and take it. But if I'm really patient, I'm waiting for it to come over here before this support, maybe getting in here and then getting out at the same spot, which is 70% profit. But obviously if I'm getting here or here, doesn't matter, it can go all the way down very, very quickly. So I'm not risking anything I can't afford to lose. This one is such a pure gamble, but it has a lot of reward. Do I only go long on BTC? No, obviously not. There are many opportunities to go short. Shorting is great. The thing about shorting is I would use it for, I would say, you know, very quick trades, intraday trading, because when you short, the risk is unlimited. You can lose everything because the price can go up and up and up. In cryptocurrencies, maybe it's less relevant because it can go down so quickly and sharply then that the risk is so high going long as well. But if you mitigate your risks, if you have your entries and exits predefined, as you should, and the risk is predefined, then yeah, of course, I mean, shorting is part of the game. There are a lot of opportunities, especially here where we had head and shoulders. There was a resistance here that got broken. Then when we came here again, it played as a resistance again. So going into like this trade, I think was a good opportunity for those who took it. So yeah, I would say go for the shorts. So going back to Shiba, you know, I called it. I would go in here or here, and right now it's not, you know, I can't really guess where it's going to go, up or down. So I would wait. It's in a downward trend. Obviously, let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame. You know, we can see that doesn't look that great, but once again, it can change so quickly and turn upside down on us. So I would be patient. Oh, I forgot, but one important thing to look at always is the volumes. So when I take a trade, so for example, I said I was waiting for it here or here, but I'm not just waiting without any other confirmation. What I do is, let's look at the 4 hour. I want to see the volumes tell a story. It's all about the price action, right? For example, let's see, going back and creating basically this support, we can see that the volumes were substantially high according to the previous bars, right? We had 3.9 and 4.1, where before we had much less numbers, like 0.5 and so on average. So we saw that there was a lot of transactions here. If we come back to the same level and we don't come back with a lot of transactions, the price doesn't hit a lot of transactions, it won't be able to break that. So if we see another bar coming down here and then going back up and it has low volumes, then it's like trying to break the floor, and first time you come with a sledgehammer and you are unable to break the floor, and next time you come with just a small hammer, you won't be able to break the floor. So that would be my confirmation of going back in. Same goes in this level. So that's what I would do at SHIB. Talking about showing how to trade, you know, we'll do that later. For now, I just want to focus on talking about the trade, the coins themselves and the charts. But it's basically just saying sell in the platform. Just write sell. You can do that using the futures. FTX has a lot of futures that you can use. You can just write sell, and it will short. If you guys don't have any particular asset you would like me to look at, then let's look at Ether, because Ether is getting crazy these days. Let's start from fresh. Let's look at the weekly chart and see what we can understand from that. Let me throw in the lines there. Let's start. So here, then one more line, sorry, line here. It was more of a region, say here, and then this one that got broken very easily, as the Bitcoin did as well. Looking at the 1 day, I see a nice support resistance here, right? Oh. And then right now we are in uncharted territories. So this is the trade I would look for on a price action, where we actually broke the all-time high. We broke the all-time high. We came back to test this previous resistance, turning support, and we have a nice hammer here representing price coming back very quickly. So what I would do is I would go along here. Let's do an error. I would go along here and put my stop. Let's put a line for a stop. I would put my stop here, and then let's see how much I'm risking. So if I'm risking $200, I want to get at least 3 times on my money. I would say, 600 is the minimum. I would wait for 51 to get out, $5,100 to get out of that trade. So here, this is where I would get out. Risking, don't forget, your stop loss represents your risk. Don't risk more than 2% of your capital on any single trade, because this is a proper risk management. Trading is, everything is risk management, and if you manage your risk in a responsible manner, you can lose a lot of trade and still make money. So this is Ether. Let's look at a shorter time span, an hour, and see if we could have even clearer signal for entry. So this is where, and remember, I would draw this line previously before that happened, because I would see, okay, I have a 3 times resistance here. It should turn support, so I would draw the line and wait to see if we get there. And we did get there. We got there with 3 hourly bars with very high volumes, and those didn't go all the way down. So when the price started going back up, like here would be a good place to enter, and you had several hours for that, and much better than when I drew the line. So if you would enter, let's say here, right? Let's see how much risk that represents. That's 125. You can actually take 125, 375, let's say 400. You would get out here. You would actually close the trade on a win already. So that's why we look at the larger time frames. We draw those lines, and those support and resistance are kind of a guide for us to show us where to look for the opportunities. At least that's the way I work. And in this case, for example, then you take the shorter time frame. Let's see what happens if I take an even shortened time frame, like 15 minutes. What kind of story we get now? So we got this bar, this very, very strong bar. And then I would even wait to see what happens here. I could even wait after this bar, because it's kind of an exhaustion. You see a lot of people dumping a lot of contracts, a lot of coins, and nothing really changed that much in price. I would have even gotten here before the price even went lower. But either way, you want to put your stop away from your entries as much as you can, just so you wouldn't, stopped out just because, we had just one more breathe to that short. So I would even, be able to get here, which means I would get out even sooner or make more money on my trade. So that's Ether. It's a nice opportunity here. Let's see. Can you play the long short trading view for a coin you like? Can you explain the long short tool in TradingView for a coin? What do you mean by long short tool? I'm not sure I understand. I'm not a master in TradingView, as you can probably see, but I bet I can if I understand what we're talking about, I can try and show you. SPY. Okay, I wanted to make this room dedicated to crypto trading. So if you want to look at the SPY, maybe we can do that later. What is RIF? Not sure I heard of RIF. DeFi. Okay. Let's go back 1 week. So we got, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'm not familiar with RIF, so I don't know what they do. Seven Shiba, RIF. So I'm guessing it's a decentralized finance, DeFi coin. probably something new. So thank you for that. I will take a look myself. So we can see that it launched in December, had a big spike. Nothing much happened since then. Obvious support is here, right? Let's take out this bar away from the equation so we can see stuff. Obvious resistance here, right? All those weeks. And then it's a weekly chart, so we can see that there's some good trend going on the past couple of months. So let's turn into daily. And what can we see here? I see obvious support here. Let's draw that. This was support that turned resistant. It's not a strong support. You can see that price broke pretty easily before. So I don't know how much I would rely on that support. But this price band here, anyway, let's draw a band. I want to draw a channel. Where's the channel? You can see that here. Sorry. Let's draw a line. Here is a nice support resistance area. But looking at this currency, I don't see a lot of clear signals that would make me want to get in. Like right now, it's maybe, on our resistance turn support just now. So it might be a good opportunity to get in here. Maybe all the way here, because this is an area of resistance, or all the way over here. But I would have to, if I do that, I trust this support as the last one, and then let's calculate. And then if I get in here now, if I trust this support, I want to put it below. That's a 30% drop. So 0.01. So I want 0.03 to get my money worth in terms of risk reward all the way here. It just doesn't look like a good setup, so I would pass on this one. But listen, let's add it to our watch list, and next times, next sessions, we can take a look and see how it played out. Let's even put a marker and vertical line of when we talked about it, and we'll come back to it next time or next times. Let's see. Crypto ETFs are out in North America. Are they too risky not being open 24 hours? So regarding crypto ETFs, I have two things to say about that. First, definitely yes, if they're not open 24 hours, maybe even three things. If they're not open 24 hours, obviously you're open to risks. A lot of times those, Bitcoin moves very, very sharply in those hours that they don't trend and they don't trade, and then you see those gaps. If you can take a look at Bito, you can see the gap. Look, let's say you shorted here. Like if you bought, that's a great thing to wake up to 7%. But if you bought here and you wake up to, I don't know how much is here, to 2% gap, obviously it's bad because you don't have time to react. Number two is you need to understand the kind of ETF you're investing on. Because, for example, BITO is based on futures, which means the way they track Bitcoin is not by buying Bitcoins. And there are other ones that will open that will actually buy Bitcoins, and those will be much safer. But the way BITO works is they buy futures on Bitcoins. A future asset is something that expires, and then it's a contract that expires, and then you have to buy the next contract every time it expires. That can happen once a month. And every time you sell the contract you're currently holding and buy the next one, you're losing something along the way. So this is not a vehicle for long-term investments. I would use it if I want to trade Bitcoin or enjoy Bitcoin trading, if I trade in interactive brokers and want to do intraday trading. But the third thing I want to say, that if you want to invest in cryptocurrencies, it's so easy just to buy the cryptocurrency itself. So I'm not sure, you can just do that. It's very, very easy. ADA, let's look at ADA. I hope that makes sense. If not, I'll happy to elaborate. So if ADA here, I was wanting to look at it. I like all the DeFi currencies, I have to say. I think there's a real value in them. I think the future is going in that direction. And this alternative finance, in a couple of years, it's not going to be alternative finance. It's going to be, Main Street, Wall Street finance. So I'm excited about DeFi currencies. Let's look at weekly chart. So I don't know if you have ADA and you bought it, in 2020, but if you have and you hold, then you've done what? Let's say 3,000%. That's quite nice. That's why we love crypto, right? Okay, so let's draw the lines here. I can see extended line. It's such a sharp trend that it's hard to draw the line. But let's do this one, and then okay, I don't know what that says. Okay, going back to support and resistance. Obvious support, resistance, but I don't see it played. Yeah, it played support here. Let's draw this one. Why not? Doesn't cost us. So it was resistant, turned support, but then very, very quickly it broke, so it's not that strong. We have the latest, we have this. You can see that this resistance turned support here. So if you were lucky enough to take the trade here, I bet you could have made some money. The latest support, this one, I would say here. So this is the weekly. Let's go into daily. Don't identify any new lines here that I would like to draw. So currently we are inside two lines, one support, one being support, one resistance, and almost in the middle of them. So I'm not sure if I find a trade here. Let's get down for 4 hours. One, two, three. This could have been a good opportunity if we were here, because after seeing this level and this one, this drawing line would already be drawn. And looking at price action, when I look at, it's a 4-hour bar, I look at this bar with such high volumes in compared to the other ones. This could represent a good entry point. especially when we came back again and again and again without breaching and with low volumes. So getting in at any one of those points in time, where's my line? You could have been able to get in here, and if I were to do that, then I would get out probably here below the resistance. Okay, and let's see, that represents 10%. So I'm looking at 30% at least, which is just above the last resistance. So maybe less, maybe I will get out here. 2.5 is also fine. Let's say I would get out here. That's also fine. That's also a nice trade to do, and if we were to do that, we're probably very close. Looking at it now, if I want to do something now, I'm not sure, because a good trade already happened. I'm not chasing trades. There are a lot of opportunities, and just because we're in the middle of things, then I wouldn't necessarily do something. If it comes here and it shows the same behavior only in reverse, then it's a good opportunity maybe for a short from here to here. So that's ADA. Let's look at the shorter time frames, even though, you know, not sure it's not going to change much. So ADA in at 1.9. Are you in at 1.9? Wow, that's good. So you're spot on. If you're in at 1.9, then you're already made like 2 times risk reward, I would say. I would get out maybe for the last resistance, or at least move your stop. I would now move my stop, if you haven't done so already, to be above 1.9, just so you don't turn a winning trade to a losing trade. That's a big no-no. So you know, listen, there's a lot of resistance here, right? This and this one. So I wouldn't expect the price to go down below this level. So if it goes below, and look, it's 2.03. So I would say if we get to 2, get out. You haven't made much, but at least you haven't, you know, turned a winning trade to a losing one. So yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Let's see if we have more interesting opportunities. I'm just going by the order here. So Phantom is another project that I really like. I mean, look at that. That's a 1-hour chart, right? Let's look at the daily chart. Okay. So from January, let's look at the logarithmic scale and say, let's not be greedy. If I got in anywhere here, I would have made almost 18,000% on my money, which is ridiculous. Even getting in like on July would be 1,500%. So this is very, 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 very nice. Let's go back to regular. We're on a daily time frame. Let's start from daily. So this is such a good opportunity for anyone who has been able to identify it. First resistance, second resistance. If you can see here, it stalled a little bit before breaking it, turning it into a support. So I would say, let's take this line and put it here. And it's kind of a region between here and here. So even the top is here, we can see that we can wait for anything between here and here. So if we dip into that region, which we have, let's take that could be a great opportunity. If if I got in here, let's think where I would have placed my stop. I think below this bar where we started the movement, where we broke the resistance for the first time. So I would say here. And if I were to do that, if I would, let's say this is my exit, and let's say this would have been my entry. Right, then 24%, 0.25, so 75 is right here. That's 3 times the risk, but 70%, but we could have taken it. Let's say that if it reached here, right, 75%, then this bar is so strong that it's worthwhile staying in the trade and see what happens, and just raising our stop loss, but it's fair game continuing with it. So another support and resistance, let's use this line, is here, right? Resistance turns support, and resistance turns support. This is this classic textbook, right? Where's that line? Oh, sorry. Was this here before? Let's delete it. Resistance turns support. And I can see here on smaller ones, that's if we go to 4 hour, we'll be able to see that more distinctively. But this is a resistance, support, support, support. So we have another line here. Let's get in here. 4 hours. This is the 4 hours. Resistance, resistance, support, right? Somewhere here. But it's not that strong support. So I'm not sure. I would be cautious in getting in the trade. I would want to see something more distinctive. But obviously this is a resistance here. So let's think. If we want to get long on this one, because we want to hold Phantom, where would we wait for it? I would say, but it's also very risky. I would say somewhere along this area, but I'm not even sure. I don't have anything clear here, so I'm not sure I would wait for a trade in Phantom. Maybe if I want to hold it, then I will look for a good place to get in, or maybe if I want to hold it, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, Solana, another great project. This is 4 hour chart. Let's look at daily. It's also new, so looking at it weekly doesn't really says much. Let's start dropping those lines here. This is a resistance turns support, and we didn't even touch. When we don't even touch the support and it starts going up, this is an indication or a clue that it's gonna fly, because the conviction is so strong. There was a rejection here, turning support a couple of times, so that's a good place to drop a line. Those two ones turning into support, this resistance, 1, 2. So I would wait here, actually, if I want to get in long. There's no reason to get in short whatsoever, because we don't have, it's a new territory, it's all-time high. We don't have an indication that we can build upon. For me, if I want to get in and trade, I want to find as many clues as I possibly can. But here, at an all-time high, the only thing I can do is maybe look for a place to join the party. Now, because this was the previous resistance, it might as well turn into support, possibly. So I would look at a shorter time frames and look for the opportunity to get in maybe here if it presents itself. And the way I would do it, I would look at the 4-hour and 1-hour charts, and then waiting around here, I would look for that sledgehammer that hits the pavement and doesn't break the floor. And if that happens, I'm getting in. But where do I get out? Let's think about it. Because getting in, just finding the place to get in is just half of the problem. We need to understand where we get out, and if we believe that the risk reward is worth our while. 2666, you say, only well as support. So let's say I'm getting in here, okay? Let's say it went down below here, and then I caught it when it started going up. Where do I get out? So maybe below this line, the latest price where it was somewhat of a support. It's not a strong support, but if I do get out here, let's see what it means. Is it worth my time? So if I do get out here, that would be 10%. 22.5, which means, let's say 70 points, 66, 70 points going upward. 70 points, it means, oh, I think I drew the line backwards, but never mind. 70 points, it means all the way over here. Do I trust it's gonna go all the way over here at 290? If I find that, if I'm able to catch that trade, and this was my entry, let's put the entry as it should as green and exit as red. So this would be 3 times the risk. Do I believe it's able to get there? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the daily chart. And if we were to do a Fibonacci extension, from here to here, we're at the 78. This is the one. I don't know. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. I'm not sure I'm taking that trade because I look for obvious things, and there are thousands of those if you have the time to look for them. So that's all. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. And by the way, if you have, I don't know, if you want me to look at things, this is just how I look at things. I keep my chart very, 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 very clean. Nothing but support and resistance and volume. But at some occasions, I do use, I like to use indicators such as RSI because there are great strategies using those. Let's see, Ronan, mid channel support, locally also bottom channel support, globally level support resistance flip at 2666. Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing you're talking about Phantom. Yeah. Cool. I was Solana. Avalanche is also very interesting to look at. It happens to be that now everything is going up. So when everything is going up, we're looking for the long trades. There were times that we were only looking for short trades, but that's cool. So let's see what happens here. And let's end with this one. and for next time we'll have new ideas, and maybe you can share your thoughts and what you want me to talk about. So let's look at the daily chart, which is quite volatile. Yeah, wow, okay. When is this? This is January. So if I were to get in January, what happens here? Yeah, 2800%. That's not too bad. Cool. Let's drop those lines. Obvious one. Support, resistance. This one, resistance, 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 support, right? This kind of area. So when it broke, it would be interesting to see what happened here. We'll take a look later. This one was an obvious resistance here, and then not much of a resistance or a support. Only plays the support here actually later on. 59 probably at 60. Obviously support and resistance are drawn into whole numbers, so this one would be probably be at 60, and we are at all-time high. This daily, this area here, right? Let's drop a line here. 1, 2, 3 here. So I would wait here to take my trade, because there are a lot of people that thought that might be resistant, but now it's going to be support, because this is how it goes. Let's go down. Do we see something new in the 4 hours? I see this area is very, very clear. And then this is the area of support and resistance. I would look to get in somewhere here, maybe, if the proper price action would show an indication as well. Let's look at the 1 hour. Yeah, I would get in long here, but then when would I get out? Let's play that game again, where if I get in here, right, where would I get out? So if this is a support and this is support, I don't want to be too far, so maybe below these bars here, maybe here could be a good candidate. And then that would be just 7%. In this economy, 7% is really a slow movement, as crazy as it sounds. So which means I would need, this is my entry, 21, like around here. It's not far-fetched. I think I would have taken that trade if it presents itself. Let's put a line here. You know what, let's put another one here. That's my exit, second exit, and then a vertical one. And next time we'll come back to this one and see how it played out and what we could have done with it. But for now, I want to thank you. This was our first time. And I hope you join me for next times, and hopefully next times I can ask you guys what are your favorite trades, and maybe you have something to share with other people on the stream. But until then, thank you very much for joining me, and see you next time. Bye.